Welcome, folks. This is Basant Sharma, and you are watching my channel. And this is part of the ongoing series on the topic permutations and combinations. And I hope that you are getting to know new and interesting things. Also, I'm hoping that you're having lots of fun as we proceed. So let's move on and let's start with a new topic, which is known as multinomial theorem. All right. So basically, okay. Before I start off with this topic, let's write down a couple of formulas that will be useful throughout this particular section. That is part of actually binomial. Those formulas can be derived using. They are part of something known as the binomial theorem. We won't derive them, but we just need the results, and we will discuss those formulas in detail in the chapter on binomial theorem, which I hope to discuss sometime in the near future, which very soon actually. So the first thing is, let let r be a natural number. Okay, then 1 minus x to the power minus r. This is this formula is, if you have, what I mean to say is, if you have 1 minus x to the power minus r, this expression, the value of this expression is 1 plus minus r minus x plus minus r into minus r minus 1 by 2 factorial into minus x square plus minus r into minus r minus 1 into minus r minus 2 upon 3 factorial into minus x cube, and so on till infinity. This is nothing but 1 plus rx plus r into r plus 1 by 2 x square, and this will become plus r into r plus 1 into r plus 2 upon 3 factorial x cube, so on till infinity. And this is nothing but 1 plus rx plus, now this is, you can write this as r plus 1 c2 x square. This you can write as r plus 2 c3 x cube, and so on till infinitely many terms. All right. By the way, yeah. So by the way, just to verify this, if you expand this term, this is nothing but r plus 2 factorial upon r plus 2 minus 3, which is r minus 1 factorial upon into 3 factorial, which is nothing but r plus 2 into r plus 1 into r upon 3 factorial, which is nothing but this term. All right. Okay. So if you ask that what is the nth term in this expansion, then that will be nothing but uh, you see, what is the first term? See, uh, if you ask me what is the coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of 1 minus x to the power minus r, then what would that be? Well, you see, uh, the coefficient of x to the power 0 is 1, coefficient of x to the power 1 is r, coefficient of for x to the power 2 you have something like r plus 1, for 3 you have 2 here, for 4 you will have r plus 3 c4. So for x to the power n you should have r plus n minus 1 c n. All right. So this is your coefficient, which is nothing but n plus r minus 1 c n, or this is nothing but n plus r minus 1 c r minus 1. All right. Okay. Now you might, now we already know, we have already seen this formula before, right? This is the number of ways of distributing n identical objects amongst r persons. and we will see that there is a relation between this coefficient, there is a relation between what we just did right now and the thing we have already done before. Okay, so here is the result. The result is the number of ways of distributing n identical objects amongst r persons is equal to number of first result is number of non-negative integral solutions of y1 plus y2 plus yr is equal to n, where yi is greater than equal to 0 for all I equal to 1 till r. Alright. Okay. Now, first of all, you see, why is this true? Now you see, clearly there is the proof is, there is a one-to-one correspondence between distribution of n identical objects among r persons and non-negative integral solutions of this equation. Alright, you see, suppose you take any distribution, okay, suppose you have person p1 till pr, you take any distribution, okay, take any distribution of n identical objects amongst these r persons. Suppose this person gets two objects and so on, and suppose this gets no object. Then corresponding to this distribution, you get a solution of this. Why? Because you can take y1 to be 2, which is this thing, and you can so on till yr you can take as 0. Alright. Now this, note that we are assuming that yi is greater than equal to 0. That is, each variable can either take the value 0, 1, 2, or it can take a maximum of n also. Right? So the values of these variables y1 to yr, they can vary from 0 to n, both values included. Okay. And if you have any non-negative integral solution, by the way, non-negative means greater than equal to 0, and integral means that they are natural numbers. Okay, not they shouldn't have decimal values. All right. Now, conversely, if you have any non-negative integral solution, suppose you take y1 is equal to 2, y2 is equal to 3, so on till yr is equal to, let's say, 0, then you can say that person p1 gets 2 objects, person 2 gets 3 objects, and so on till person r gets 0 objects. Okay, so this is one thing. Also note that when we said that we have to find number of ways of distributing n identical objects amongst r persons, then it does not matter, the only thing that matters is that how many objects does each person get. It does not matter which objects a person gets, because all objects are alike. Okay, so only the number of objects that each person gets, that is relevant. Okay, so that can be captured by this information also, number of non-integral solutions of this equation, because in the number of non-negative every integral solution of this equation, the only thing that matters is what value does y1 get, what value does y2 get. It does not matter which objects does each person get, or which, this information is not included in this equation, that which objects it is getting, because all objects are anyways alike. Okay, so that is one thing. So this concept should be very clear. Now this first thing, this in turn, first is in turn equal to coefficient of x to the power n in. Now what I am trying to say is that this value, number of ways of distributing n identical objects amongst r persons, is the same as number of non-negative integral solutions of this equation, which is actually n plus r minus 1 cr minus 1. This can also be obtained as follows. What you do is you put r brackets. Okay, r brackets. Okay, and this each bracket represents one person. Okay, each bracket represents one person, or you can say one variable. All right, and from and so 1 is in turn equal to coefficient of x to the power n, and person 1 can take a value from 0 to n, right? So you write x to the power 0 plus x to the power 1, so on till x to the power n, and similarly in every bracket you write down x to the power 0 plus so on till x to the power n. Okay, so what I'm saying is this value n plus r minus 1 cr minus 1 can also be obtained as the coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of this thing. And why is that? You see, again, just you see there is a one-to-one correspondence between the number of non-negative integral solutions. See, you have this equation, right, where yi is greater than equal to 0. So see, if you have, let's say you take y1 equal to 0, y2 equal to 2, so on till yr equal to, let's say, something like 3. Okay, then corresponding to this solution, okay, corresponding to this solution, you can see what we are trying to do is we are trying to establish a one-to-one correspondence between the non-negative integral solutions of this equation and the ways of forming x to the power n, right? See, what this thing says is the number of ways, the coefficient of x to the power n, this is nothing but the number of ways of forming x to the power n. Okay, so in the number of ways in which you can form x to the power n in this expansion, for example, if I take x to the power 1 from here, I take x to the power 2 from here, and let's say I take 0 from all of them, and from the last one I take x to the power n minus 3. Okay, so this power 1 2 0 0 0 n minus 3, that is nothing but if I put y1 equal to 0, y1 equal to 1, y2 equal to 2, y3 equal to so on till yr minus 1 equal to 0, that is nothing, and yr equal to n minus 3, right? This is one solution corresponding to this distribution, this way of forming x to the power n, right? And corresponding to every way in which I can form x to the power n, I will get a solution of this. And corresponding to, let's say if I take a solution like this, I can put x to the power 0 in the first bracket, from the first bracket, then y2 is 2, so I can put x to the power 2 in the second bracket, and I can take yr is 3, so I can take x to the power 3 from the last bracket. So if I add all these powers, they will give me n, because y1 plus y2 plus y3 till yr is n, and these are n brackets. Alright, so this is one thing. Okay, now okay, so that is one result. Okay, so basically to summarize, the number of ways of distributing all n identical objects among r persons is equal to number of non-negative integral solutions of this equation, and this in turn is equal to the coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of this thing, where you take r brackets, and inside the r brackets you vary the powers from 0 to n. All right, now we will see some special cases also where see here the important thing to note is each person can get number of objects that each person gets is lying between 0 1 from 0 to n. Okay, so a person can get as low as 0 objects and as many as 9 objects, n objects. Okay, so variation is from 0 to n. Okay, but we will have some cases where we will have cases when a person, let's say, can receive only between 2 and 4 objects, and so on. We will consider those cases also, and multinomial theorem can handle them as well. Okay, so this is one thing. Now the next thing is, okay, now in general, suppose you have the equation x1 plus x2 so on till xr plus xr is equal to n. Okay, where xi varies from ai to bi, I is equal to 1 to r. That is, x1 varies from a1 to b1, x2 varies from a2 to b2, and so on. xr varies from br to ar. Okay, all right. And you want to find integral solutions. That is, x1, x1, x2, and so on till xr. They are natural numbers. Okay. Okay. Then number of solutions. Then number of solutions of this equation is equal to, this is completely logical, there is no magic going on here. This is coefficient of x to the power n, coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of, this is the generalization of the above argument. Okay, so instead of 0 you now start from x to the power a1 for the first bracket, and so on till x to the power b1. For second one you start from x to the power a2 and go on till x to the power b2, and so on till the last bracket, which is ar x to the power br. So you just find the coefficient of x to the power n in this. This is completely just an extension of the previous argument. Okay. In particular, when you want to find the number of non-negative integral solutions, okay, then just as we did above, you put, if you put ai is equal to 0 and bi is equal to n, right? If you put ai is equal to 0 and bi is equal to n, then for all i, this symbol means for all i, that is, a1 is 0 and b1 is n, a2 is 0, b2 is n, so on till ar is 0 and br is n. Then you again get this formula, which is n plus r minus 1 cn minus 1, r minus 1, this one. All right. Now, what is the, this is the number, this is the generalization. Okay, but what this means is that you have r people, n identical objects, okay, and you want to distribute these n identical objects amongst r people such that person 1 can get between ai to bi number of objects, person 2 can get between a2 to b2 number of objects, and so on till, and the person r can get between a minimum number of objects that he has to receive is ar, and the maximum that he can receive is br. Okay, so that is the meaning. All right. Okay, now this is so this is actually what we call as the multinomial theorem. Let's see, for example, if I want to see an application, let's see an application of this. You see, if you recall, in the last lecture I said that we discussed the case that when we were discussing this formula n plus r minus 1 cr minus 1, I gave a different perspective on this. I said that if you have r different kinds of objects, okay, let's say the letters, let's say a b c d e f g, okay, you have r equal to 6, you have 6 letters, and if I ask you to select, let's say 10 letters, select 10 letters out of these, okay, and repetitions are allowed, obviously repetitions must be allowed, and there are unlimited copies of each letter available, then the number of ways is nothing but n plus r minus 1 cr minus 1, right? We already did this. So we have r different kinds of objects, and we want to select n is equal to 10 letters out of these, okay, with repetitions allowed and unlimited copies are available. Okay, so you can take, you can take 0 A's, or you can take a maximum of 10 A's also. All right, So in the case when unlimited copies of each letter is available, your answer is this, and we derived this also. If you don't remember that, then I would suggest that you go back and watch the previous lecture and see the derivation also. Okay. Now suppose if I put restrictions. Suppose now the application of multinomial theorem is, you can solve this question by multinomial theorem also. Alright, so basically you have to, what you are doing is you have to find the number of solutions of, let's say, x1 plus x2 till x6, which is should be 10, and you want to find the coefficient of x to the power 10 in the expansion of 1 plus x plus 1 plus x square, so on till, and this is multiplied 6 times, so in this. Alright, this you have to find out. Okay, so this is one thing. Okay, you can do this by multinomial theorem as well. It's the usual multinomial theorem. Okay, now suppose I have, let's say, L1 objects of type 1, let's say L2 objects of type 2, L3 objects of type 3, and so on till LR objects of type R. Okay, so L1 objects are all identical and they are of type 1, and so on till LR. Okay, and if I ask you that I want to select n objects out of these. Okay, so basically what we are saying is L1 copies of type 1 objects are available, L2 copies of type 2 objects are available, and LR number of copies of type R objects is available. Okay, so that is nothing but, if you think about it, select n objects out of these. Okay, so that is nothing but coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of 1 plus x square, so on till x to the power L1, because for the first object the minimum that you can take is 0 and the maximum that you can take is L1. Okay, if the minimum is, let's say, if the minimum is 1, then you start with x, you remove this term. If the minimum is 2, you start from here and you remove these two terms. Okay, so that you can vary, and that is completely, that has a logical explanation, right? There's nothing to memorize here. So whatever is the minimum value, you start your summation from there, you start your terms from there. If the minimum value of the first type is 2, then you start from here, and so on. Okay, all right. So the second object, let's say 1 plus x till x to the power L2, and so on till 1 plus x plus so on till x to the power LR. Okay, so that is one way of thinking about, this is one application. Okay, so multinomial theorem, the basic thing to remember about the multinomial theorem is that you have n identical objects and you want to distribute them amongst R persons. Okay, that is the basic idea. N identical objects, distribute them amongst R persons, because if you see, we are just concerned with the, because why are we taking n identical objects? Because you see, the solutions that we are taking, for example, the solution of this equation, for example, we are only concerned with how many what is the number that is associated with x1. So that is, how many objects does person 1 get, how many objects does person 2 get. We are not concerned about which objects it is getting. Okay, if you have n different objects and R persons, then this is not the right way to do it. This is not the answer. Then n plus R minus 1 CR minus 1 is not the right answer, because this is just telling you the selection of this is just telling you how many objects does each person get. It does not tell you which objects does each person get. Okay, So that has to be calculated as well. That has to be taken into account as well if n different objects are there. Okay. So you have to pay attention to these kind of details. Okay. So let's solve some questions now. Okay. Okay. So the first question that I would like to do is, okay, suppose a student can score a maximum of 100 marks. Maximum marks is equal to 100. Okay, in physics, chemistry, maths each. 100 marks is the maximum score in physics, chemistry, maths each. Okay, then first part is, in how many ways he or she can score 190 marks such that minimum in each subject should be 50. Minimum in each subject should be 50. Okay. So basically what we have to do is, essentially what you have to do is, you have 190 marks to distribute amongst 3 different objects. Okay. So you have 190 identical objects which are marks. You can think like this. And you want to distribute amongst P, C and M. Okay. Alright. So basically this is equivalent to, this we have just seen, this is equivalent to the number of solutions of this equation, where xi is greater than equal to 50 and less than equal to 100. Alright. And this we have already seen that this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 190 in you will start from x to the power 50 plus so on till x to the power 100, and this way you have 3 people, that is PCM, so that is cube. Alright, so this is nothing but, now it is just a matter of solving this. This is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 190 in x to the power 150 can be taken out, then this is 1 plus x plus so on till x to the power 50 cube. Okay. Now coefficient of x to the power 190 in this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 40 in 1 plus, remove this term, so you want to find coefficient of x to the power 40 in this, right? And this is nothing but if you solve it as a GP, this is nothing but 1 minus x to the power 51 upon 1 minus x whole cube. Okay, and this is nothing but 1 minus x to the power 51 cube into 1 minus x to the power minus 3. Now if you expand this using binomial, this is nothing but 3c0 minus 3c1 x to the power 51 plus 3c2 x to the power 102 minus 3c3 x to the power 153 and so on into 1 minus x to the power minus 3. Now these are all, these terms, this one, this one, this one, these are all irrelevant because they are more than x to their coefficient, their power is more than 40. So the only thing is we want coefficient of x to the power 40 in 3c0 into 1 minus x to the power minus 3. Okay, and this is nothing but this is 1. So we want coefficient of x to the power 40 in this expansion of this, and this we have already seen. Coefficient of x to the power n in the expansion of 1 minus x to the power minus r is nothing but n plus r minus 1 cr minus 1. So this is nothing but 40 plus 3 minus 1 c3 minus 1, which is nothing but 42 c2. This is your answer. Okay. Alright. Now if I say that the total should be, let's say total should be 230, the total marks obtained should be 230. Okay, then again the same process, you want coefficient of x to the power 230 in the expansion of, see these in the expansion of, some steps will be common. You see this, you can start from here. All right, so this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 80 in 1 minus x to the power 1 minus x power 41 cube to 1 minus x to the power minus 3. All right, so this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 80 in, this is 3c0 minus 3c1, again the same thing. Now remaining terms are not important because their power is more than 80, right? So you can ignore the remaining terms and you can simply write this. Okay, so this is equal to coefficient of x to the power 80 in 3c0 into 1 minus x to the power minus 3 minus 3c1 into, now you see you have x to the power 51 here, right? So remaining term is you have minus 3c1 into coefficient of x to the power 29 in 1 minus x to the power minus 3. All right. Okay. So, and this is nothing but 82c2, because you have 80 plus 3 minus 1 c3 minus 1 minus 3 into 29 plus 3 minus 1 c, that is 31 c2. Okay, this is your answer. Now here's the interesting thing. Looking at this answer, can you think about a different way of solving this question? You see, essentially what we are doing is you want to distribute 230 identical objects, okay, amongst 3 boxes which are P, C and M. Okay, you want to distribute 230 identical objects amongst 3 boxes which are P, C and M. Why am I saying 230 identical boxes? Because you see, if you look at the question, you are saying that physics should have between 50 and 100, chemistry should lie between 50 and 100, and math should lie between 50 and 100. So only the number is important. Okay, how many marks does each subject gets, only that is important. You see the idea behind this, the idea that I am using, it is not these marks by themselves, they are not different. Okay, only the quantity is important. Okay, that's why I am saying you can think like this also, that you have to distribute 230 identical objects amongst 3 boxes. Okay, such that each box gets at least 50 objects. All right, each box gets at least 50 objects. Okay, now if you remember, now if you think about it, each box should get at least 50 objects. Okay, and they are all identical objects. Okay, they are all identical objects. So what you can do is give 50 each to each of the 3 boxes. Okay, because, and there is only one way of doing it, because all are identical objects. Give 50 objects to each of the 3 boxes so that the minimum condition is satisfied. We have done this before also. If you remember, we had a formula something like this. In that case, what we did was, we had that at least each box should get at least 1. So we distributed R objects amongst R persons, which was done in one way, and then remaining objects we distributed amongst R persons in these many ways, right? You remember, if you remember, we did this in a previous lecture. So instead of 1, now we have that 50 objects are there. So no problem. Just satisfy the minimum condition. Give each box 50 objects. Okay. So that means the problem now remains to distribute 80 alike objects amongst P, C and M. Okay. Okay. Now how many ways are there? That is 80 plus 3 minus 1, C3 minus 1, right? So 82 C2. But there is also an upper bound. There is an upper limit on the number of objects that a box can get, and that upper bound is 100. You see, 82 C2 involves that case also when, let's say, all the 80 objects go to, let's say, box 1. So box 1, let's say P, then P will get 130 objects. You get my point? But that is not a favorable situation because P can take a maximum of 100. Alright, so what we can do is we can use the bijection rule to subtract the unfavorable cases. So case 1 is unfavorable case 1 is P violates the condition. Now if P violates the condition, what does that mean? That means P gets at least 51 objects. See, each of the boxes P, C and M, they already have 50 objects each. So we can't, so if P gets at least 51, then it will violate the condition. 51 or more than 51, right? Then it will violate the condition. So out of these 80, see, so the problem we have is we have to distribute 80 alike objects amongst PCM. Okay, now out of these 82 C2 ways, in how many ways is P violating the condition? That is, P gets at least 51 objects out of 80, right? So give 51 objects, again the same process, give 51 objects to P, give 51 objects to P. So remaining 29 objects need to be distributed amongst PCM, and that can be done in 29 plus 3 minus 1 C3 minus 1 ways, right? Now there is no restriction. Once you give at least 51 objects to P, now you distribute the remaining 29 objects amongst P, C and M in these many ways, N plus R minus 1 CR minus 1 ways. Okay, this is 31 C2, and this you can do for each of chemistry and maths also. So unfavorable cases is 3 into 31 C2. This you subtract from 82 C2. This is your answer. Now the important thing to note here is, you see here there is one simplification that helped us. That simplification was that just a minute. Yeah, that simplification was that when we said when I said that P violates the condition, then I gave 51 objects out of 80 to P. Okay, then remaining, when I was distributing remaining 29 objects, then it so happened that remaining of chemistry and maths, they did not violate the condition simultaneously. Okay, what I'm saying is, when P violated the condition, then at that time none of chemistry and maths will violate the condition. Okay, so when I subtracted these many ways out of this, there is no overlapping. You get my point? See, if something like this were to happen, that when P is violating the condition, and suppose while distributing 29 objects, suppose chemistry or maths also started violating the condition, okay, something like that began to happen, then there would be overlapping, because when chemistry was violating the condition, then physics and maths would start violating also, and all those cases. So you would have to subtract and add something, you would have to do some more work. All right, but in this case it so happened that this kind of thing is not happening. Okay, but the idea is the same, idea will remain the same. You will have to do more work in that case, but the idea is the same. You subtract this, and then you would have to add some cases because they would be subtracted more than one time, and then you will have to subtract again, and all depending on the number of objects, and depending on the number of persons you are distributing the objects to. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, now next, so I hope the idea is clear. The next thing is, now I would like to solve some problems. Okay, all right, let's do some problems, some more problems. Suppose you have three persons, A, B and C. Okay, now suppose A has 6 1 rupee coins. Okay, B has 7 and C has 8 1 rupee coins. Okay, and the question is, in how many ways can they donate 10 1 rupee coins? Okay, in how many ways can they donate 10 1 rupee coins? Well, again, uh, so basically what you have to do is you have 10, you have three, uh, you have three different objects. Okay, okay, you can think like this: you have three different objects, you have 6 copies of this available, 7 copies of this, and 8 copies of the third one. Okay, and you want to select 10 out of them. Okay, so one way to do it is that this is nothing but method one is, one way to think about it is, this is nothing but number of solutions of this equation, right? Where x1 varies from 0 to 6, x2 varies from 0 to 7, and x3 varies from 0 to 8. Okay, and you want to find the, and number of solutions to this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 10 in, again, this is 1 plus x so on till x to the power 6 into 1 plus x plus x to the power 7, this is 1 till x to the power 8. Okay, so you want to find coefficient of x to the power 10 in this. Okay, so this is nothing but 1 minus x to the power 7 into 1 minus x to the power 8 into 1 minus x to the power 9 into 1 minus x to the power minus 3. Okay, now you see, you want to find the coefficient of x to the power 10. Now you see, when x to the power 7 gets multiplied by this, or x to the power 8 gets multiplied by this, by x to the power 9, then that is giving you a power which is more than 10. So the only powers that are relevant, if you expand this, the only powers that are relevant is these. Rest all the terms will have powers which is more than 10. Okay, so this you can check for yourself. This is just a simple thing. See, you can observe yourself. All right. Okay, then again, now this is simple. Now just multiply this term with each of them. So this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 10 in 1 minus x to the power minus 3, minus, when x to the power 7 gets multiplied with this, so remaining is x to the power 3, minus coefficient of x to the power 3 in 1 minus x to the power minus 3. Okay, then similarly minus coefficient of x to power 8 gets here, so 2 in 1 minus x to the power minus 3, and lastly you have coefficient of x in 1 minus x to the power minus 3. This is fairly simple. This is nothing but 12c2 minus, this will be 3 plus 3, 6, 5c2 minus, this will be 2 plus 5, 4c2 minus 1 plus 4, 4 plus 3c, 3c1 or 3c2. Okay, this is your answer. Okay, another way to look at it is the, just now what we discussed above, which was this, when we were discussing the 230 marks case. What you can do is, you have 10 alike objects. You can think like this: you have 10 alike objects, okay, which are nothing but 10 1 rupee coins. Okay, 10 alike objects, and they are to be distributed amongst 3 persons, A, B, and C. Okay, so if you, so basically what you are doing is, you have 10 1 rupee coins and you distribute them amongst A, B, and C. Okay, and A can get a maximum of 6 coins, B can get a maximum of 7, and C can get a maximum of 8. Okay, so total number of ways is nothing but 12C2, which is 10 plus 3 minus 1, C3 minus 1. Now what is the unfavorable case 1? When A violates the condition, right? When A violates the condition, when A violates the condition, that means A should get more than or equal to 7 coins. So give 7 coins to A, and that can be done in only one way, because all coins are identical. Okay, so remaining 3 alike remaining 3 coins, you distribute among A, B, C freely. That can be done in 3 plus 3 minus 1 C 3 minus 1 ways, which is 5C2. Similarly, unfavorable case 2 is when B violates the condition, that is B gets more than or equal to 8 coins. So give 8 coins to B and distribute the remaining 2 coins freely. That can be done in these many ways, which is 4C2. Similarly, unfavorable case 3 is C violates the condition. So that means C gets more than or equal to 9 coins. Give 9 coins to C. So remaining 1 coin can be distributed amongst 3 persons in these many ways, which is 3C1. So again, your answer will be 12C2 minus 5C2 minus 4C2 minus 3C1, which is the same as what you got above. Okay, now note that here, just like in the 230 marks case, which we did, which we just did above, the bijection rule is straightforward here to apply, because, for example, when A violates the condition, B and C don't violate at the same time. Okay, so a sort of simplification is occurring here. But even if such simplification does not happen, the bijection rule you can still apply, and the logic is the same. You subtract the unfavorable cases, but then you have to take care of those cases where, which are being deducted more than once. Here in this example and in the 230 marks case example, that does not happen. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, let's now let's solve some more questions. Okay, now suppose you have 15 identical blankets. Okay, you have 15 identical blankets and you want to distribute them among 6 beggars. 6 beggars. Distribute them amongst 6 beggars. Identical blankets, and distribute them among 6 beggars such that everyone gets at least one blanket. Okay, everyone gets at least one blanket, and two particular beggars get equal blankets, and another 3 particular beggars, that is fixed, another 3 fixed number of beggars get equal blankets. Okay, so we want to find out the number of ways in which such a distribution can occur. Okay, now one method to do this is, you see, one method is that, straight away you form, see, you have, let's say, the fixed beggars are, let's say, B1 and B2. These two get equal number of blankets, and let's say B3, B4, B5, these 3 beggars get fixed equal number of blankets, and 6th beggar can get any number of blankets but at least one. All of them should get at least one. So you see, again, you can start making cases. Suppose B1 and B2 get 1 blanket each, B3, B4, B5 get 1 blanket each, so B6 will get 10. Then you can get 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and this will be 7. Alright, this will be 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, and so on. Basically, lastly you will get 5, 5, 1, 1, 1, and this will be 2. So you can calculate, you will get 12 cases. Okay, so this is a very bad way of solving it. This is brute force method. If nothing is clicking your mind and nothing clicks and you are not able to understand the problem properly, then you can do brute force method, and if you have a lot of time you can use this method. So you have 12 cases. Second method is, you see, the answer is nothing but number of solutions to this equation. You see, where x1 is greater than equal to 1, x2 is greater than equal to 1, and x3 is greater than equal to 1. And x1 denotes the number of blankets to each of the three particular beggars, and x2 denotes number of blankets to each of the two particular beggars. Okay, and x3 is number of blankets to the sixth beggar. So I hope this makes sense. See, number of solutions to this equation, because if you think about it, x1 has three copies. Okay, x1 is the number of blankets suppose beggar 1 gets. x1 is the number of blankets that beggar 1 gets, and b2 also gets x1 number of blankets, and b3 also gets x1 number of blankets. So basically what you are doing is you are finding the number of solutions to this equation. Okay, this is nothing but 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 equal to, this is nothing but, now how will you find the number of solutions? Now you see, if you think about it, in general, if let's say you have, let's say this equation, ax1 plus bx2 plus cx3 equal to n. Okay, in general, suppose you have this equation, okay, such that, okay, and you have the let's say your x1 varies from, sorry, just a minute. Okay, sorry about that. And suppose x1 varies from, let's say, b1 to a1 to b1, x2 varies from b2 between a2 to b2, and x3 varies from a3 to b3. Okay, then what is the number of solutions to this equation is nothing but the coefficient of t to the power n in, now your summation will, now your terms will start from here. You will take coefficient of x to the power n in x to the power a1 plus x to the power a2, so on, a1 plus 1, sorry, a1 plus 1, so on till x to the power b1, and so on till multiplied by the third bracket, which is x to the power c a1 plus a3, so on till x to the power c b3. Now why did I do this? Now it is simple logic. You see, you have a multiplied with this coefficient. Okay, now if you take let's say I take any solution corresponding to any solution here, corresponding to any solution of this equation. Let's say x1 is equal to let's say 1, x2 is equal to 1, and let's say x3 is equal to n minus 2. Okay, although you also have to check that these conditions are satisfied, but just for explanation sake, let's say x1 is 1, x2 is 1, and x3 is n minus 2. Okay, so their sum is okay, sorry, so sorry about that. X1, let's say 1, x2 is 1, then x3 should be okay, we have a also multiplied here. So see, basically the idea should be clear. what I'm saying is, suppose this is one solution. Okay, suppose this is one solution. You can modify A, B, and C according to this solution. That is a different thing. I mean, to get this as a solution, I will modify A, B, and C accordingly. In general, you may not have that, but just for explanation sake, I am doing this. Okay. Now, suppose x1 is 1, x2 is 1, x3 is n minus 2. So, if you put this as the solution, then what will be the powers that you will get from here? You will get something, you will get coefficient of okay, so coefficient of x to the power n in this, you see. Okay, if you choose some term here, let's say I choose x to the power, let's say a1 plus something, let's say 3. Okay, and I choose x to the power a2 plus 2 from the second bracket, and I choose x to the power, let's say a3 plus 5 from the third bracket. Okay, then this is nothing but x1, this is nothing but equal to x2, and this is nothing but equal to x3, because what I'm saying is, you choose x to the power a1 plus 3 from here, x to the power a, x to the power x to the power b, a2 plus 2 from here, and x to the power c, a3 plus 5 from here. Okay, so basically when you take these three terms from these three brackets, you will get the coefficient of x to the power n as, you will get x to the power a1 plus 3 into x to the power b, a2 plus 2 into x to the power c, a3 plus 5. Okay, and this is nothing but x to the power n, right? So a into a1 plus 3 into a2 plus 2, a into a1 plus 3 plus b into a2 plus 2 plus c into a3 plus 5. This is nothing but n. So do you see that x1 is this is one solution, right? And x1 is a1 plus 3. So basically x1 will lie somewhere here, which is satisfied. x2 is between this, x3 is between this. So corresponding to every solution of this equation, you will get this x to the power a will remain same everywhere. Okay, but the other term that is getting multiplied, that will be the solution of this equation, right? So think about it, that is pretty straightforward, just what we have been doing before, the same thing. The only difference is, now because of the this pre-multiplication by a, you just start with x to the power a. You have this x to the power a term from which you are which is your, you can say, the base point. Okay, so if you think about it, you will get it. It's nothing, no rocket science here that's going on here. Okay, so in the above question, you have the number of solutions of this equation. Okay, 3x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 equal to 15. That will be nothing but coefficient of t to the power 15 or x to the power 15 in, now x1 is getting pre-multiplied by 3, so you start with x cube. Okay, so and this and minimum value is 1 plus x cube square, so on till, what is the maximum that it can take? Well, it will be x cube into 5, because the maximum power that can be taken is x to the power 15, right? You can't go beyond that. If you want to find for the first bracket, you can't go beyond x to the power 15, right? So this has to be the maximum. So the first bracket will go from x cube plus x to the power 6, so on till x to the power 15. The second one, that will start with x square 1, x square 4, and till where can it go? Obviously it can go till x to the power 14 only, right? Okay, and the third one, that can start from, that has no restriction, so that will start from t, at least one must be given, so it will start with x to the power 1, x square, so on till Well, now it doesn't matter till where it goes. See, because even if you take x to the power 15, it doesn't matter. That with every question you can check for yourself till where this power can go, because you see obviously the third bracket cannot take 15 as the value, because if the third bracket takes 15, then the others will get 0 blankets, right? That is not possible. But if even if you take it till x to the power 15, it does not matter, because that power will be rejected anyways. When you take the coefficient of x to the power 15 in this will anyways be rejected, because this when multiplied by any of the other terms, it will give you more than x to the power 15. So these terms are actually not relevant. Okay, so that you can verify for yourself also, and it does not matter even if you extend it till x to the power 15. Okay, now this is nothing but coefficient of, if you take x cube common from the first one, x square from the second, and x from this, so 6 will be gone. So x to the power 9 in 1 plus x cube plus x to the power 6 plus x to the power 9. Okay, all right. 9 12 3 6 9 12 15, so 1 3 6 9. Okay, yeah, into this is 1 plus x square plus x4 plus x6 plus x8 into 1 plus x plus so on till x to the power, okay, till 9. You can, I took it till 9 because you can reject the higher powers, right? Neglect the higher powers. Okay, now this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 9 in, this is 1 minus x cube to the power 4, because 4 terms are there, upon 1 minus x cube into 1 minus x square power 5 upon 1 minus x square into, this will be 1 minus x to the power 10 upon 1 minus x. Okay, so now, okay, now this is actually, if you look at it, this will become very messy. Okay, so what you can do is you can do a simplification. You can just, instead of going this way, you can observe that you have to make cases that which power you will get from the different terms. So instead of this, what you can do is you can straight away simplify this step. You can go from here to here. What you can do is, this is nothing but coefficient of x to the power 9 in, if you multiply all these terms, what will you get? You will get 1 plus x square plus x to the power 4 plus x to the power 6 plus x to the power 8 plus x cube into x square plus x cube into x4. And what you do is just multiply these two, okay, and again keep on neglecting the higher powers. Okay, so finally what you should get is, you will get coefficient of x to the power 9 in, um, you will get 1 plus x so into something. So basically, see, as you can see, there is no logic has taken a backseat now. It is just computation. Okay, so a lot of time I'm wasting in computation, but anyways, to get the answer you have to do it. So finally what you should get is something like coefficient of x to the power 9 in 1 plus x square plus x to the power 4 plus x to the power 5 plus 2 x to the power 6 plus x to the power 7 plus 2 into x to the power 8 plus 2. I've already solved it actually, so into 1 plus x square plus x to the power 9. And this, you can see, this is nothing but, this will be nothing but coefficient of x to the power 9 in this is nothing but 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. Yeah, so this will be 1 2 3 4 6 7 4 6 7 9 11 5 5, yeah, 12. This is 12. No, no, 1 2 3 4 6 7 9 11. Yeah, so yeah, there will be one more. Yeah, one more term will be there. Yeah, so this is 12. Okay, so basically, if you take the coefficient of x to the power 9 in this expansion, that will be uh, x square will get multiplied by 7. So one term you will get from there. X4 will get multiplied by 5. So you will get one term from there. X5 will get multiplied by 4. You will get one term from there. X to the power 6 will get multiplied by 3. So 2 you will get from there. X to the power 7 will get multiplied by x square, so one term you will get from there. X to the power 8 will get multiplied by x, so two terms you will get from there, and x power 9 will get multiplied by the constant term, so two terms you will get from there. So this is 3 5 6 8 10 5 6 8. Okay. Yeah, so maybe I did some calculation mistake somewhere, but you can check for yourself. You should get 12. Okay, so the idea is, you should get the idea. The idea is, uh, yeah, so you have to find the number of solutions to this equation where your variables have minimum value that they can take is 1 each. 1 should be the minimum value that each variable should take. Okay, so I might have done some calculation mistake somewhere. That is because it's a lengthy calculation, so I might have done some mistake. So anyways, you should get 12. Finally you will get 12. Okay, okay, so let's okay, so let's conclude this lecture, and I'll continue in the next lecture with some more problems. Okay, hope to see you soon. Okay.